Welcome to the show, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful, amazing, fantastic weekend. You got the news about Aaron Nola. The Phillies win 2 games against the Pirates. And then just before they win 3 games against the Pirates, which we didn't know at the time, Jose Alvarado gets suspended for 80 games for performance-enhancing drugs. What performance was he trying to enhance? Well, obviously his own. But specifically, weight loss is what he told President of Baseball Ops, Dave Dombrowski. That's what Jose Alvarado was trying to do. It haunted me because I remember laughing at it in spring training. Jose Alvarado telling the broadcast crew he felt like, I believe the term was a fat boy. He felt like a fat boy. Okay. Well, now we know he was trying to lose weight, at least. And he is suspended 80 games for supplemented testosterone, basically. According to Dave Dombrowski, this is the situation that that played out. Alvarado came up to him and said, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't know that thing was in there and it was banned, and here we are. Apparently, also, Jose Alvarado, according to the story by Todd Zielecki on MLB.com, Jose Alvarado tested positive, quote, a while ago and has tested negative twice since. So I don't know if that just means that the supplement ran its course. I don't know. But negative twice and 1 positive still equals apparently an 80-game suspension for the best relief pitcher that the Phillies have. Now, here's the thing. Am I down about this? Yes, I think we're all down about this. However, I'm not going to act like this is the end of the season. Now, the wild thing about this 80-game suspension is that he could come back. I think it works out to like mid-August, late August, that he could come back. So let's say he comes back. Let's say, that he's still great. He does a great job. He immediately becomes your best bullpen arm again, even though Jordan Romano is still, I think, creeping up, and right now is probably your best bullpen arm. Matt Strahm needs to have some consistency there. But let's say that Alvarado comes back in August, and he's great again. He helps the Phillies make the playoffs, and then he can't compete in the postseason because of this really weird suspension rule. Now, look, Jackson Profar of the Braves, we had our fun with that, an opposing player. He gets suspended 80 games, right? I look, throughout Major League Baseball, it is a wild thing to me that this still happens, where players can unknowingly take a banned substance. How do you how do you not have trainers that are on top of this? And I'm not excusing Jose Alvarado. How do you not have a trainer that Jose Alvarado goes to, or it says, hey, is this okay? I want to take this. Major League Baseball, is this okay? I want to take this. How is there not a system of checks and balances? How is it not drilled into these players' heads time and time again? If you're going to do anything, give it to me. You want to lose weight? Let me see this. Nope, can't take that. How does that not happen? I feel like a child again, where I'm telling me I don't feel well. Can I get some medicine? And my dad, who worked in pharma forever, he'd be look at the back of the label and go, no, you can't take that. You can't take that. No. This just seems like such a simple fix. Yet, baseball players, I will say, haven't really seemed to crack the code on this. It obviously can't be that simple, right? It can't be that simple, right? No, this is also a league where we watch guys after a 4-pitch walk, they swing at the first pitch the next time up. You know what I mean? The next batter swings the first pitch. It's just that's stupid. Don't do that. Pitcher totally lost his arm slot. Don't do that. I should say 8 pitches out of the strike zone swinging the first pitch. That's a little bit more obvious, I think. Look, I'm not going to act like this is a death blow to the city. It should be to the season. I'm not going to act like that. But it is upsetting that the guy who's been your best bullpen arm to this point is not going to be available for the next 80 games. And no matter what, is not available for the postseason. That is the weirdest You're suspended. Your suspended's lifted, but it's really not. I think that's just to stick it to the team, I guess. If you mess this up, you mess it up for everybody. Here we are back to our childhoods when it comes to this. I still don't understand the test positive and then test negative twice, still suspended 80 games. I, again, don't understand how you can take something that you don't know what's there. By the way, on that note, David Segui, former Oriole, former Mariner for a long time, and always out there with the Mariners for a while, baseball, big league player. I heard him give a suggestion years ago. And it's like, how does MLB not have a list or a sticker or a sponsorship with supplement companies or anything where they just have a label or they have a list, something as simple as a list. This is what you want to lose weight? Here's what's approved by Major League Baseball. And then guess what? There's going to be advertisers, there are going to be companies that will say, oh, no, we don't have anything banned on this list. You go check it out for yourself. You can sponsor it, or we want to get it in Major League Baseball. We want players to take it. That seems like a good advertising opportunity for many companies. And the player, oh yeah, you can take this. It doesn't make any sense to me how this hasn't been solved. The specific example that Segui gave was actually having your own line of medicine. I don't think that would work out, but I think a sticker, at least a list. Just does anyone have Microsoft Word? Does anyone have a Google Doc they could share with all the Major League Baseball teams, with the MLB Players Association, and say, hey, this is what you can take. Weight loss, this is what you need. Recovery, this is what you need. This is approved. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're not going to see Jose Alvarado. So they're not going to see him pitch in the postseason. And we're certainly not going to see him over the next 80 games in the Philadelphia Phillies. And that sucks. By the way, side note, before I get into Mick Abel and everything for yesterday, from yesterday, I'm starting earlier today, not later, starting earlier today, jam-packed schedule. So I wanted to make sure I got a Fox 29 hit later today. We're taping a Birds 360, Birds 365 is coming up at 8:00. Eagles Squad podcast coming up a little bit later today as well. So jam-packed schedule for me today. So I want to make sure I got the early jump today. So let me know your thoughts on the Jose Alvarado situation in the comments, because I was looking around Major League Baseball as like crap teams. Like, for instance, the Colorado Rockies, who you're playing tonight. And I'm like, any lefties there that would be of use? Nope. Okay. Wow. Nobody there. The best bullpen arms, like a lot of teams, are righties. That ain't happening. Yeah, not a great weekend. The Aaron Nola situation here. So he's being shut down for 2 weeks, essentially. We talked about this last week. Was he injured? Does he have some kind of injury? He's clearly not healthy. He needs to sit, whatever. Well, we've seen Aaron Nola go through struggles in his career. As a matter of fact, 2 seasons ago, including this season, 2 seasons ago. And then, you know what's funny? 2 seasons before that, and 2 seasons before that, and 2 seasons before that. He just alternates crappy years. So I didn't jump out to me that he was hurt. In a way, I was kind of crossing my fingers that something was off, and this just wasn't. Oh, no, he just sucks. No, I was hoping that wasn't the case. So they say that his ankle is landing him on the IL. Okay, I'm sure that's legitimate in some way, shape, or form. But I also have no doubt in my mind that they called him into the office and said, look, dude, this is not going well. Let's all agree. This isn't going well. You just got rocked, gave up a 5-1 lead to St. Louis. What's going on? Like, what's going on? And I don't know, I'm just doing things and it's just not working. And okay, well, we're going to shut you down. Now, we can either shut you down and just say we're going to give you a break, or we're going to shut you down and say you got an injury. Have you done anything that you could land you on the IL? I I cut myself shaving the other day. Nope, that's not going to work. Stubbed my toe. No, it's not going to work. I kind of rolled my ankle in the outfield running in Tampa. Sold! And then they shut him down for 2 weeks. That's how I think all this played out, because they're saying that it's his push-off ankle. So his right ankle. That to me is just, it makes sense. That's why that would be disturbing. Okay, even if it was left ankle, worried about landing on it weird, All right. The point is, Aaron Nola needed this reset. And I'm hoping that this reset proves to be the difference in his season. Because what we had been seeing was atrocious. Atrocious. They correct the issue a little bit with JT Realmuto catching him. I still don't understand why they didn't have JT Realmuto catching him in his start against Cleveland. But apparently it wasn't so much the catcher as it was the ankle. They had JT Realmuto catching him against St. Louis, and that's where the ankle, I guess, really showed the effect. Either way, if this is a legit serious injury that will cost him 2 weeks, or this is just an exaggerated injury to sit him out for 2 weeks, whatever gets him back to the guy that I actually have confidence in every 5 days when he takes them out. And I am certainly, and I haven't been silent about it, I'm more of an Aaron Nola fan than most. I'm not like trade him right away, when he struggles or anything like that. I think he is a very good pitcher. I think that when you have the type of inconsistencies that he has, I think he's a solid number 3 guy. He's getting paid some number 1 or 1A money right now with the Phils. But the Phillies are in a situation right now where they have the luxury of being able to be without one of their starting pitchers. And that's not including Taijuan Walker, who's already in the bullpen, of course. But what you have gotten to this point from Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo, Christopher Sanchez, that's a 1-2-3 punch. That's pretty spectacular. Getting back Ranger Suarez right now, that's pretty awesome. Being able to call up a guy, and believe me, we're going to talk about him in a second, in Mick Abel, that is awesome as well. Oh, just go down to the minors and get 6 scoreless? Maybe, possibly should have been 7. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. And then having a guy in the bullpen that I'm in no way, shape, or form bragging about, and I'm talking about him right now in this context as a 5th or 6th starter. Taijuan Walker right there is also pretty damn convenient. So, yeah, now is the time that if you were going to give him a rest, now would be the time to give him that rest. I am, I think, more optimistic than most that he comes back, and he looks a hell of a lot more like the pitcher that we have seen really mostly throughout last year. And as you guys have known, if you've been listening to me a while, I've been talking about this. You talk about a guy that just goes ERA mid-4s, mid-3s, mid-4s, mid-3s, mid-4s, mid-3s, just alternates years like that. It's just insane. Absolutely insane. So that's one thing we'll be keeping an eye on over the next 2 weeks is the progression of Aaron Nola. Now this brings me to yesterday with really anything. Stepping aside from anything that's related to Jose Alvarado. Mick Abel looked like the absolute truth yesterday. Holy pots and pans, people. He looked like the absolute truth. I said on the postcast the night leading up to the game that he was going to start. I said, watch Mick Abel with the velocity. He might be amped up a little bit. He was averaging about 95 miles per hour, 96 miles per hour. In the minor leagues. So let's he'll probably get around 98. Probably top out 98 with a little adrenaline boost, right? Yeah, he hit 99 to O'Neal Cruz, the first batter he faced, before he sat him down with a nasty curveball. It was beautiful. It was like you saw the snap in that 12-6 curve and went, damn, son. 99 and an 84 mile per hour snap like that. Way to go. And then for 6 innings, he absolutely dazzled. Absolutely. 84 pitches through 6 innings of work. 9 strikeouts. That ties Kurt Simmons' Phillies rookie debut record for 9 strikeouts in a debut. I went back and I looked at that Kurt Simmons start. By the way, he walked 6, man. That guy, Kurt Simmons guy, sucked. No. He walked 6. He went 9 innings. Mick Abel, of course, walked nobody. Gave up 5 hits. Kurt Simmons gave up a hit. 6 scoreless from Mick Abel. And on top of that, Mick Abel's just 23 years old. Kurt Simmons was 18. What a time. 1947. Striking out 9 guys in your Phillies debut. Not bad. Mick Abel striking out 9 guys in his Phillies debut in 6 innings. Not bad also. Of course, the fastball had life on it. The slider had some great dive to it as well. Yeah, color me impressed. I don't know anyone else that couldn't have been impressed. That was a masterful performance. Really, the only times that he got into a little bit of trouble, he got on first and second, 2 outs, first and second, 2 outs, first inning. Got out of that with a grounded to short. That looked fantastic. Third inning, gets in a little bit of a jam again, but again with 2 outs, first and third this time with 2 outs. Gets out of it by getting Horwitz to top a fastball and ground out to second base to end that threat. And then after that, just matchful. Also struck out the side in the second inning. Fourth inning, another 1-2-3 inning for him. And that also featured, by the way, that inning featured an 11-pitch at bat by Frazier, and it was only a 16-pitch inning. 11 of the pitches came at 1 at bat. It also had another strikeout of Canario. That one was on the sinker with some great run on it. Oh, my goodness gracious. He had great run on that fastball. That was pretty awesome. Fifth inning, gives up a leadoff single. No problem. Gets right out of it after that. Sixth inning, he's at 72 pitches. Needed 12 to get through it. Got another strikeout of McCutchen. That was on a 3-2 fastball that was low and inside. McCutchen just looked bewildered, would be the word. And then ended it with a ground out and a fly out in the 6th inning. Now, here's where I'll ask a question. I honestly thought he was coming. I thought he was going to be coming back out for the 7th. I was like 55% sure he was coming back out for the 7th inning. 84 pitches. He threw 96 pitches in his last minor league start. He had thrown over 90 pitches twice in AAA. I know everyone is in the school. I shouldn't say everyone, because I asked this question as a poll question yesterday on social media, and it was like 50-50. And the question I asked was, do you agree with Rob Thompson pulling Mick Abel after the 6th inning? 84 pitches, 9 strikeouts, 6 scoreless innings. And it was literally 50-50 that people didn't want him to come out. Now, if I would have asked that question in the middle of Orion Kerkering's scarce outing in the 7th, then maybe that would have spiked a little higher. But they had gotten out of it and then asked the question. So, do you agree with pulling him in before the 7th inning? I wouldn't have pulled him because he had pitched 96 pitches before, because he was cruising, and I just lost my best bullpen arm. I don't want him. I don't want to get the bullpen in this game as fast as humanly possible. No thanks. I don't like a preemptive strike against struggling. Like, if a guy has it, a guy has it. And he was showing no signs whatsoever. The velo on his fastball was still 96 miles per hour. The curveball was just looking fantastic. Again, just had a 12-pitch inning. That's pretty much what he'd been doing throughout the entire game. I'm not taking him out of that game. Now, look, I don't like to argue the result, because the result was the Phillies won the game. The bullpen came in and they did not allow a run. You won a 1-0 baseball game. So there's no arguing the result. The philosophy is what I will argue. And the philosophy is that he took him out after 6 scoreless innings. I hate the argument of, well, he did his job. Well, he did his job after 5 innings. So pull him after 5 innings then. He did his job. He gave 5 strong innings. Well, then, okay. I thought his job was to win the game. Did he pitch well enough to put the Phillies in a position to win? Certainly. 6 scoreless, yeah, that's kind of a position to win a game. Did he get one little measly run of support? Yes, he absolutely did. We'll get to that inning, because that was a wild one. Literally, by the skin of the teeth, the Phillies were able to go into this game and get this win. Offensively speaking. Defense, pitching-wise, they were great, obviously. But I would not have taken him out after 6 innings. I would have put him back out there for 7. And then for the people that are like, well, now he's out there feeling good. Yeah, he'd still feel pretty damn good if he had 7 scoreless innings. He'd still feel pretty damn good if he walked a batter in another like long at bat in the next inning and then had to be pulled, the standing ovation he would have gotten, yeah, that would have been pretty damn good. I'd love to see him come back up and do his thing. I'd love to see him stay here at the major league level and continue to do his thing. And I think there's a chance that he's back in 5 days. If you don't have Aaron Nola pitching. I'd rather see Mick Abel than Taijuan Walker. Can we get on the same page there? Yeah. So other than that, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying why. I absolutely love I love what I saw from him yesterday, and I just wanted more. And the other thing is, I think he had more to give. And I don't agree with the philosophy of, well, he did his job. Well, yeah. And I think he could have kept doing it. As far as the offense went in yesterday's game, this was absolutely bananas. The fifth inning, did you guys notice? They squeaked out a run on a ground out by Brandon Marsh. But a couple of things here. One, the leadoff hit was a splitter inside to Nick Castellanos in the fifth inning off Paul Skeens, who was obviously incredible. And really, go back to Mick Abel for a second here. Think of all the things that are going for this guy yesterday in Mick Abel. You're making your major league debut. You're going against Paul Skeens. You got to outpitch Paul Skeens. Now, Skeens went the distance, right? But still, to be stacked up against that, knowing you're not going to have a lot of wiggle room and still perform at the level that he did, that's laser focus is what that is. That was absolutely incredible. So to see that play out the way it did yesterday, his whole family's there and his high school coach is there. I mean, to see that play out the way it did yesterday was awesome. Rafael Marchand, shout out Rafael Marchand, did a fantastic job catching Mick Abel yesterday. Absolutely incredible. So that's one more thing I want to throw Mick Abel's way. Now, to that fifth inning. So Nick Castellanos, 0-0 game, leads off with a single to third base. Haynes boots it flat out. And then in the process of booting it, blocks the shortstop from getting to the ball for any attempt at a recovery and getting Nick Castellanos, who, as I always like to point out, is not fleet of foot. So it eliminates any chance of throwing out Nick Castellanos. So now you got to lead off runner on. Okay. All right. Get something going here. Okay. Max Kepler then steps up to the plate. And Max Kepler has been ice cold, to say the absolute least, lately for the Philadelphia Phillies. Ice cold. Steps up, puts a ball into right center field. Nick Castellanos has a jump on it and makes it from first to third. So now you got first and third with nobody out in the inning. You got to get a run in this situation. Alec Boehm just misses a sac fly RBI, shallow fly out to center field. There's no way in hell you're sending Nick Castellanos from third on O'Neill in that situation, especially O'Neill coming in to get the baseball. There's no way you are sending him. You might not even send Jimmy Rollins in that situation, okay, if he was still playing. You might not even send Trey Turner. There we go. Update the act. There you go. So now you still got first and third with one out. Brandon Marsh hits a little bit less than sharp ground ball up the middle. I'm thinking it's absolutely a double play ball. Phillies are not getting out of this, or Phillies are not getting a run out of this inning. I'm like, Brandon Marsh is fast, but I don't think he's that fast. They touch second for the second out of the inning. Throw to first in the midst of Nick Castellanos streaking home. And Brandon Marsh beats the throw to first ever so slightly by a spike, okay? By one cleat, all right, on his shoes. He beats out the throw and Nick Castellanos scores. 1-0 Phillies, babe. Rafael Marchand comes up next, strikes out on a changeup. That was the way the Phillies got their run. Think about the intricacies of that inning. I thought for sure that there's going to be a moment where Mick Abel just missed a spot with a fastball or whatever, or Paul Skeens just missed a spot with a fastball, and Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos tee off on it, whatever. That would be the difference in the game. This was the most subtle run ever. The run practically had to be like, ahem, can I score now? Ahem, ahem. And the run scored. That was that. Orion Kirkering, as I mentioned, made things really interesting in the 7th inning, but he was able to get out of 2 leadoff base runners, first and second with nobody out. Alec Boehm used every inch of his 6'5" frame to corral a ball that was thrown far to his right from Orion Kirkering to get the force out, keeping his foot on the bag on third. And then Orion Kirkering was able to induce a 1-4-3 double play to get out of that inning. After that, Matt Strom, thing of beauty. After that, Jordan Romano, he comes in. He takes care of business in the 9th inning. Bang, bang, boom. Phillies complete the sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates. A couple of takeaways. One, other than what I already mentioned, just going forward, Bryce Harper has been doing a hell of a lot better recently. And I look at this game in particular. You know, the pitching staff of the Pittsburgh Pirates is not exactly one that you do a lot of bragging about, okay? But Paul Skeens is the real deal. I think we can all agree on that. Yesterday, he dropped another barrel low in the zone on the ball and was able to hit it into the outfield for a base hit. Bryce Harper now, over his last 2 weeks, is hitting .333. He's also, over his last week, is hitting .421. He's got an on-base percentage of 420. His on-base percentage is .421 over the last 2 weeks. His batting average over the last 7 days is .421. How about that? His on-base percentage over the last week is .542. So, yeah, he just might be figuring things out. So I love to see that for him. You obviously want to see the power numbers return for him. It has been a rough go of it as of late for Bryce Harper in that regard. He's got his average up to a little bit below 260 overall on the year. So you love to see that for Bryce Harper. That's obviously a great sign. Alec Boehm is another guy that continues to hit. Yesterday, not the best example of that, like many other Phillies. He came up with the offer. Actually, Brandon Marsh, shout out to him, came up with the base hit, or excuse me, came up with the RBI, I should say, and reached on the fielder's choice, and then also walked. So he was on base twice in yesterday's game. But Alec Boehm, talk about guys creeping up on 260. He's now at 256 on the season. And over his last month, he's hitting .329. His last 2 weeks, .366. The last week, .316. Way to go, fella! And also over the last month, he's actually hit his only 2 home runs of the season. So that's why I don't like giving up on some of the younger guys on this Phillies roster, because baseball happens, unfortunately. Go 1 for 24 sometimes, and people want to throw you off the team. They want to throw you in the Delaware, and sometimes you just wait it out a minute. They'll get through it. And this was a situation where he absolutely got through it, so that was great to see. Phillies, here's the good news for the Phillies. A couple of tidbits of good news for your Philadelphia Phillies, other than Bryce Harper, seeming to crawl out of his woes. Alec Boehm, certainly out of his. Mick Abel, can he do it at the big league level? He did it at the big league level. Rather impressive, I'd say. Historic, actually. Phillies now, despite losing Jose Alvarado at the spot that they're in now. How about this? The Mets and Yankees just wrapped up their Subway Series in New York. Mets dropped 2 of 3 to the New York Yankees. That now puts the Phillies at a half game out of first place in the National League East. The Atlanta Braves are 4.5 games behind the Phillies for second place. The Mets right now at 29-18. They're starting a series with the Boston Red Sox while the Phillies are headed to the Colorado Rockies. The 8-win Colorado Rockies. They are headed there for 4 games. How about that? And then they got the hovering around 500, below 500 Athletics. That's where the Phillies go. 7-game road trip. Phillies just had a 5-6. 5-1 6-game road trip. So, keep that magic going, Beb. Keep that magic going. Tonight, for the Phillies, Christopher Sanchez will be making the start against Kyle Freeland, lefty versus lefty. Sanchez 4-1 of the season with a 2.91 ERA. Freeland 0-6. What does he think he is, Aaron Nola? All right. With a 6.15 ERA. So that means it'll be a 2-1 game. No question. Phillies have an easy track. They have this 7-game road trip against the terrible Rockies, the somewhat average Oakland Athletics. And then things get real again when you come back home after that for a 3-game series, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday against the Atlanta Braves. That's what's waiting ahead of the Phillies. That's when things get real. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That's what the Phillies have in store for them. I certainly think they have hit their stride. I believe it's Wednesday of this week. Shifting gears now to your Philadelphia Eagles. I believe it's Wednesday this week where the NFL will officially vote on banning the Tush Push. To me, I still don't know what the compelling evidence is to change, like to make a rule in the NFL. Think about this. We're going to make a rule in the NFL. Okay, show me your compelling evidence. We have none. Okay, let's make the rule anyway. That's how I feel this is going to go with the Tush Push. Can you give me any compelling evidence? Injuries. Injuries aren't a thing. Okay. It looks like a rugby play. Football kind of looks like rugby a lot of time. What are you talking about? Geez, really striking out here. One team is a hell of a lot more dominant than the other teams. No, they're not. The Eagles are at about 80%. The rest of the league's at about 68%. Well, we don't like it. Okay. Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds. Could Kenny Pickett squat 600 pounds? Because he ran it and he had success. What are we talking about? This is an epic waste of time for the NFL. Yet, because nanny, boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo, apparently still gets said by adults in the NFL. This makes zero sense to me. And the NFL's going to do, they're going to do it. They couldn't apparently make their point and make their case during the NFL owners meetings, a month and a half ago, whatever it was. And now they're going to, they tabled it for this conversation that will be taking place this week at the meetings. I think for no good reason, other than the league just doesn't want it, I think for no good reason the Tush Push is going to get banned. And that for me will just be, well, what is the rules? What are you doing then? What are you basing this on? The injuries that haven't happened? Fascinating. And I make this point all the time, but it also doesn't make any sense to me that when the Philadelphia Eagles run the play, all they're doing is creating the pile immediately. All they're doing is creating the pile. When you have a pile, you can push a pile. So can you now no longer push a pile? Makes no sense. This is where we're at right now in the NFL. Philadelphia Eagles win a Super Bowl, win an NFC championship in dominant fashion, and now everyone just wants to tell you that they don't like it. Makes zero sense to me. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Especially when you use promo code Farzy, you can get $20 off that first purchase. Don't forget about Game Time Picks as well. The Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app allows you to filter out all the fluff so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices. You don't have to scroll through literally thousands of tickets. And how about this? You can also view your seat. You can see your seat's vantage point before you buy the tickets. So you're taking the guesswork out of buying tickets, ladies and gentlemen, with the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. Danny, what's going on, man? Getting into the chat check. Hello, sir. Sean Kilrain, what's popping? As far as the camp at the bar. There you are. Yep. Ineligible for the playoffs. Yes, he is. Greg Lucas, hello. All right, Greg, thank you. Who do the Phillies shop for a bullpen arm? Ryan Johnson. Yeah, that's the question that we're all kind of kicking around right now. If a deal gets made in the next week or so, I would not expect anything of substance. It'll be a minor leaguer you never heard of, probably. Cash considerations type deal. If something happens in the near future, I say week, but I'll just say near future. If something happens at the trade deadline, I don't see the Phillies parting ways with Aiden Miller, who's actually having some struggles there at AA. Justin Crawford, who just hit his first home run in AAA last week. Certainly not Andrew Painter, McAbel. Let's just get these names out of the way. I don't see anything of substance, a true hard substance being shopped. Look, July 31st is a ways away. It's not forever away, but it's a ways away. I don't see the Phillies parting, especially with money. If they want to bring back Kyle Schwarber, which I absolutely think they do, I don't see the Phillies really parting ways with any young prospects that they really feel are going to have a huge impact. I would say Painter ain't happening. Crawford ain't happening. McAbel ain't happening. I know some people brought up the idea of possibly showcasing him yesterday. I don't think that happens, especially with the money that you have locked up in Zach Wheeler. Like, we don't talk about Zach Wheeler is the highest paid pitcher ever. What are we doing here? Like, I'm not going to be trading out of the young prospects that could be bargain price pitchers for the foreseeable future if they're coming up and staying up at any point this year. Like, if McAbel comes up and stays up here, if God forbid something else happens and you need him to go the rest of the year, like, don't get me wrong, I got confidence he could do it, obviously, after 6 scoreless. It makes you feel pretty good. After seeing the stuff he had, it makes you feel pretty good. But if something else happens, you don't ever want to see anybody get injured, but you're going to need young, affordable arms in this bullpen, or excuse me, in this rotation. So I don't see any pitchers getting moved of note. I don't see Crawford or even Aiden Miller getting traded. Maybe somebody down at the single A level. That's really it. On the big league roster, maybe Marchand, and you bring Stubbs back up to catch. Maybe that's somebody that could get moved. But again, I don't see anybody of significance. I don't think Bohm's getting traded. Brandon Marsh could potentially be dangled out there, even though Rob Thompson seems to be pretty hell-bent on the platoon situation between he and Johan Rojas. But Brandon Marsh would be a guy that could potentially be moved as well. Thank you, Ryan. Sean Kilrain, what's going on again? Mick Abel ties the Phillies. Since 1901, only he and Kurt Simmons have 9 punch-outs in their debuts as Phillies as their debuts as Phillies rookies. That's pretty great. Amazing. Robert, dumb and stupid things he did. I assume that's Jose Alvarado. Sean Cohen, Philly statement on Alvarado being suspended 80 games, testing positive banned substance. Oh man, I butchered that word. I'm not even going to try it. Like I said, you got to know what you put in your body for. Exactly. Damon Fat, what's going on? Some X threads been saying they showcased Abel. I've seen that as well. I don't think that's the case. Sean Kilrain, I would say, unless they're really going in there, they're going to be making some moves there before the deadline. I was thinking 6 espressos he had. Sean Kilrain says, I think it was the 6 espressos he has a day that got him suspended, Farzy. That's right. He does have 6 espressos. If you're, as an espresso enthusiast, if you're having 6 espresso, come on. Just have a cup of coffee. Robert, he's upset about what he's not getting paid for. He's trying to get a contract. It's not working out. Oh, who? Nolan Arenado? Or Aaron Nola? Sean Kilrain, Little Dicky. That's funny. Danny C, Farzy chin check. Keep the beard. Danny C, teams are going to want him if the Phillies want a top arm in the bullpen at the trade deadline. Ranger won't get you that. I agree with that. Daniel, what's going on, Daniel? Good morning. Jeff Schultz, what's up? The guy is saying tennis barely suspends their players for using roids. So true. So true. Sean Keller, NBA Finals, yeah. Knicks, Pacers, Timberwolves, Thunder. Here's where I'm at. So now the Knicks have, we knew the Knicks had passed the Eagles, or the Eagles. We knew the Knicks had passed the Sixers. Now the Pacers have passed the Sixers. That process was so worth it. William Stark, hello. Good morning, Farzan Incoming. Good morning. Nice to see you. For the people just joining the show now, this is usually when I start the show. But I had to get things going a little bit earlier than usual today. Hey, let's get into the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. And if I didn't hit it already, I think I did. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. I mentioned the meetings this week in the NFL. Also coming up this tonight, you start that 4-game series. Here's the way it breaks down in Colorado with the Rockies. First 3 games of the 4-game set, 8:40 start times. Thursday is a 3:10 start time. Ranger Suarez slated to get the start there. Taijuan Walker slated to get the start Wednesday night at 8:40 against the Colorado Rockies. And then Friday, 10:05, 10:05, and Sunday, 4:05. There might not be a postcast after that 10:05 game. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I will be back with you guys, I think, either later today or tomorrow. I'll tweet out when we're going to do another Eagle squad. It's now in question. We'll get to that tomorrow, or later today, rather. I will be back with you guys on Locked On Phillies YouTube channel after the Phillies game tonight. So make sure you guys don't miss that. Like and subscribe to Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great as per usual. Philly Magic 365 for Nolan Arenado. Jose Alvarado. We do believe it was a weight loss thing. I get it's on a player, but the MLB should not be on top of what they can and can't ingest. Is there not a loss? I guess. But yeah, the MLB should be a little bit on top of what the players should be on top of it. I mean, let's just say the players should be on top of it, but the MLB should make it pretty simple, stupid. You want to lose weight? Take this. Here's the list. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll be back with you guys tonight following the Phillies win over the Colorado Rockies. See you guys.